Sorry, I accidentally clicked for Coach Casero to start video. I was actually meant to click to start on my video, so yeah, that was yeah. Anyway. I'll start the meeting. Not everyone is here, but that's okay because I have recorded this so they can refer to it later if they need to. However, um, I did encourage them to join because some of the meeting actually involves us going through the schedule and start list. So um, they might need to, what do you call it? Like they might need to actually communicate any changes to the schedule or the start list. So I'll just get started. So I just acknowledge that everybody is here. So we have Coach Davina from UCord Baguio, Coach Casero from Pangasinan, and Jasmine from Loag. So just acknowledge that everyone's here and they can hear my audio. If you can't hear my audio, can you just type in the chat box? Okay. Okay, so I'm assuming that from the other coaches who are in the meeting, some of them have already reviewed the start list and have actually updated me with corrections with the start list. So I'm now going to start the PowerPoint that I have, and here we have it. Okay, like coincidentally, two of the other coaches who haven't joined this meeting yet are reporting brownouts. So they will just have to catch up on this presentation. But I'm thinking that when I recreate the Zoom chat, they might be able to get in around 10 minutes time. This is going to time out in about 10 minutes because I'm on the 30-minute Zoom thing. So I'm going to go through just the information which doesn't require their feedback. And they can just watch this on video later because it's sort of like, it's information that they can review later. So I'll just go through my PowerPoint slides and then, okay, so for the event, PinoyAthletics Massive Sports Allcomers Pangasinan number 3 held September 17 in Lingayen. I'm just going to the next screen, advising that this will be recorded. You might need to rejoin because this will time out in about 10 minutes. We would like to sincerely thank Governor Raymond Guico III and the office in charge of the Don Narciso Ramos Oval, Mr. Leopoldo Anais, and their respective staff for supporting and approving our PinoyAthletics Pangasinan Allcomers 3. This is our third event that we've had approved by the province or the LGU under the previous governor for the last 2. We have over 100 entries in total for this event, and with some late entries coming in, we have pretty much filled all the 150 allocated beds that we have approved for us at the dormitories at the Don Narciso Oval. Okay, so for accommodation, this is the arrangement of the rooms. So all female athletes, coaches, and officials are in room 21. Room 24 is for all the male athletes of Olongapo, Bulacan, and the University of Cordilleras. And okay, just the beach. Hello. Okay, so just welcoming Mr. Jason Deach from JD Performance Athletics in Bulacan. So he hasn't really missed out on the introductory, but this is sort of the more important part of the slide. So we're just discussing the room allocation at the Oval. So we have 3 rooms, which I've been informed are all air-conditioned rooms in room 21, room 24, and room 26. It was specified by the venue management that male and female guests need to occupy separate rooms. It cannot be in the same room. So assigned for room 21 is all female athletes, coaches, and officials. Room 24 for Olongapo, Bulacan, and the University of Cordilleras. Room 24 for Pangasinan 1, Pama, Alaminos, Vigo Hearts, and also for VMUF. And so basically room 26 is for all the male Pangasinan athletes, coaches, and officials. And there's 50 to 60 per room, with a maximum approved capacity of 150. Beddings are provided. The earliest check-in will be a check-in date 1 p.m. Friday on the 16th of September, and the latest date for vacating the rooms is 8 a.m. on Sunday, the 18th of September. So any time after 1 p.m. on Friday is fine to come and occupy the rooms up until 8 a.m. on the Sunday as specified by the venue management. I'm just having a look back at our Facebook messages. So Coach Mike of Olongapo advised that he has a brownout, so he's not able to really attend at the moment. So he'll just have to watch the recordings and then discuss any thing to do with the lineup after this presentation. Okay, next slide. So medical. So initially we were advised by the LGU that they would not provide a medical team, but now they are providing a free medical team, which will only administer first aid at the Oval. So any, as per the waiver, any further medical expenses to the hospital will be at the participant's own expense. So basic first aid can be provided on site, but anything requiring hospitalization would be at the participant's expense, as mentioned in the waiver. And moving on to the next slide. So this is regarding payments. So I believe that this doesn't apply to some because they've already paid. So that is just the payment details of the GCash. Anyone making further payment arrangements, I was hoping that tonight we would have at least one of the 3 representatives for VMUF, but we can probably discuss this in the second session of the meeting. Okay, so guidelines of the event. Just bring up. Okay, I'll just change my share screen. Okay, so yeah, I have it on this, on the screen. Okay, it doesn't seem to be coming up on the share screen. Okay, now it does. All right, so regarding the guidelines of the event, we've already covered the payment section. The event will be limited to 1 day, September 17, 2022. One technical official for every 10 athletes. List of officials will be covered later in the meeting. Dormitory accommodation was for up to 300, but we've booked up for 150. Any damage to rooms as per the waiver will be covered by those staying in the rooms. We already covered the thing about the hospital costs. Going down list of events. I think that everyone's already clear on the list of events. That's sort of been explained. So the age grades 2000 and before, youth 2005 and after, masters. But regarding masters, there's only one masters athlete competing, so be they'll be scored in the final results as masters. But unless they want to run by themselves, they will probably be put in, like in one of the slower heats of the men's race, like maybe the second or the third heat. Otherwise, they end up having it's either that option or they can choose to run by themselves. But I think it'd be better, just to put them in the third heat of the of the men's race. Okay, so regarding this, there are no heats and finals, as this is only a 1 day program, so the schedule doesn't really allow to have heat rounds of 100 meters or 200 meters or 400 because it's only a 1 day competition. Otherwise, this event would go for 2 or 3 days, and we'd have to pay the officials 3 times as much, and we'd have to put the entry fee up if that was the case. So that's why it's been compressed into 1 day, similar to the structure of the weekly relays, so they can allow more events in a day by not having rounds. So how it works with the events is the strongest competitors go in the first heat, second heat, and then the third heat based on the entry times, which we'll discuss further. So we will have certificates for participants and also pledge from our sponsor of prize singlets for the first placer in each of the events. So the event will be using video software timing, not hand timing, which is closer to fully automatic timing for scoring purposes. This is particularly helpful when we have an event where there's a photo finish, in which we have to use video frames to determine the outcome of the event, which with no video timer is very hard to determine who actually won the event. So usually it's whoever gets their torso over the line first by World Athletics rules. And then advising that PinoyAthletics is in no way, shape, or form affiliated or associated with PATAFA or the Philippine Sports Commission, which is part of our disclaimer. Okay, so yeah, that concludes the part on the guidelines. So the next section is regarding the schedule of the event. So for the schedule, we need to discuss the starting height for the women's high jump, the men's high jump, and any adjustments needed to the schedule itself. So I will now bring up the screen, which has the schedule of events on it. One moment. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is the schedule of the events that we have for the one-day competition on September the 17th. So the first event will be the walks at 7 a.m. in the morning, which has 2 female and 3 male participants. So we have combined this into one event, followed by the high jump, which will have 3 female and 1 male participant, which we have combined into one event. However, like what I would like to discuss at the meeting is the starting height for the females. So I would like to ask Ms. Hello? I would like to ask Ms. Davina if you can suggest your starting height for the women's high jump event. One moment. Okay, so we'll have to come back to that question regarding the starting height on the women. I'll just discuss one moment. Hello?
Sir, could we start?
Yeah.
At least 1.25 to 30?
Yeah.
1.25 to 30 for the high jump.
So what would you like to start with, 125 or 130?
Yes, sir.
So which one is it, 125 or 130? Okay, I will put 125 for the starting height on the schedule. Coach Dan for male for
Point,
care.
0.25 for the girls, for the women, and for the men, 1.35 or 1.30.
Do you have? Can I ask? Do you have male entries for the high jump or not? Okay, one moment. So, Coach Dan, hello, are you there? Okay, we'll come back to the high jump. So I've got 125 down for the female starting height based on that feedback. So we have put the longer events in the morning to when it's the least hot time of the day. So we start with the women's walks where there's only a total of 5 participants in both genders. Then the women's 3,000, which only has 3 participants before the men. The male race has 16 participants. It's both youth and male. So I think there's only 4 male or 4 non-youth contenders in the 3,000 for men. So that's why we've combined them all into one race. I mean, the results we can score them separately, but it doesn't seem like any point in having just 4 people in one race. You know, for 3,000 meters, because 3,000 meters takes a little while to sort of takes about 15-20 minutes to finish a race, like maximum, like if depending on the ability of the athletes. But so it made more sense to just put all 16 of them into one race rather than just put 3 or 4 in one race and 13 in the other. But of course, the women have been put separately because having more than 16 is a bit too many to have in one race. I think, especially for the girls. So we've decided to put the high jump and the longer events first, followed by the sprints. So in the sprints, there's quite a lot of races because some of the divisions each have three graded heats. So the order which we go usually is girls, boys, women, men in that order. So what I've done is I put the 100 meters first, then I've put the 200 meters next. So I've made sure that anybody running the 100 meters has at least has about an hour to recover after the 100 before they run a 200. So for everyone who runs, everybody who's entered in the 100 has about an hour before they run the 200. So 100 usually doesn't take too much out of you. So an hour is usually about ample rest between a 1 and a 2. Then after the 200, I put the 800. So for the women, we only had women and youth. We only had 4 entries, so we have put them into one race because otherwise you've got 3 in one race. You've got one person running by themselves, which also doesn't make sense. So we put the 800 women on at 10 o'clock. Then the boys 800 had 10 athletes in it. I think that 10. There's 8 lanes, but you've got 10 in a race. I think that 10 is still anything up to about 12 in an 800 is a manageable number in a race where you don't run in lanes the whole way. Then the men's 800 has 4 entries, because if we added the men to the boys combined, that would have just would have been 14, which is over 12, which is a bit too much for that event. The relays have been combined, but we will score them separately, but they've been combined. So we have basically all lanes occupied because I think we've only got like 2 or 1 open relays, and the rest are all youth. So then in the morning session, finishing at 11:30 with the triple jump, which has 5 competitors of both gender. Then break in the middle of the day for lunch, and then resume at 2 o'clock with the women's 400, which only has 7 competitors, so that will be a combined race. And then the 2 heats of boys and 2 heats of men for the 400, followed by a combined long jump with both men and women, which has 10 entries. Then a combined women's 1500 and open, which only has 3 entries. Then a boys 1500, which has 10 entries. Men's 1500 with 5 entries. And then the 2 4x4 relays at the end, which finishes at 4:30. So, which is the last event at 4:30. So the event should all be complete by about 5 o'clock on the Saturday. Okay, so now we have the suggested starting height for the women. I'll ask VMUF because I think that according to my lists, they're the only ones that have an entry in the males, but we will check the lists probably in the second session of this meeting to discuss if there are more entries in the high jump. But as far as I know, there is only 1 entry in the high jump representing VMUF. So I would like to I'll just talk to the coach privately regarding the starting height for the solo male entry. So that's pretty much it. I would like to ask now, is there any suggested adjustments to the schedule, having a look at this schedule of events? I mean, I would probably have to post this up on the. I probably have to post this up on the website after this. I haven't really done that yet. But looking at the schedule of these events, is there any concerns or any suggested adjustments to the schedule? With the way it's been structured. Just having a look at the chat. Can we switch the 2 and the 4? I'll take a note of that. The reason, okay, I'll give you the reason why the 2 and the 4 are arranged in that way. The reason is a 400, I think a 400 takes a lot more out of you than a 200. That's why the 100 and the 200 has about an hour apart, because an athlete will recover in about an hour between a 1 and a 2. If an athlete will run a 400, and they're running a 200 as well, they need quite a lot of time to recover if they run the 400 before the 200, as opposed to running a shorter 200 before a 400. But I've taken a note of that, and I will consult with the other coaches to see if they would also like to do that. Problem is as well is that the 400, if we swap with the 200, only gives the athlete an hour to recover before they run the 4x1. Okay, so I understand from some feedback that some of the people in the room are not able to hear my voice. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to do regarding that, unless the only thing I could suggest is possibly just type or watch the replay of the video. I'll just continue with where we're at. So we did have a suggested adjustment from we had a suggested adjustment from the coach of Baguio regarding the switching of the 4 and the 2, which we can explore further with the other coaches, which I've taken a note of, plus arranging the starting height for the men. Just looking at what else we have. Okay, I'll just jump forward because this is not really going to take as long. To our list of technical officials. So this is a list of the technical officials for the event. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, about 12, 13 technical officials, 10 technical officials plus 3, I believe. So yeah, these are the technical officials for the event. So we have one for every 10 athletes based on that quota. So I believe the tournament manager is Mr. Julio Padilla. And yeah, so we have a total of 10 technical official plus number 3. Okay, now moving on to the longer part. This is the longer part or the main part of tonight's managers meeting, is the actual going through of the events and entry lists of athletes. So without further ado, I will share that screen. And okay, I might need to zoom in a bit because that writing is probably a bit small if someone's on a cell phone or something. So I'll just, okay. Okay, is this font size readable for everybody? Like, please just acknowledge, someone could just acknowledge if this is readable. If it's not readable, please let me know. And then we can enlarge the view. We can zoom in on the information to make it more readable. So just going through the start lists for the events. So we're starting with the open women's 100 meters. So we have 9 participants. So we have had to divide them into 5 in the first heat and 4 in the second heat. Now, as much as possible, I try to put the fastest known athletes in the first heat, and then the remainder in the second heat, and henceforth. As much as possible, I've tried also to make sure that there's, as much as possible, there's one athlete from each team at least in every race, or in each event. I'm trying to make sure that, you know, whoever's coming from somewhere else gets to, you know, at least run against someone from another team when possible. Okay, so we have 9 entries in the women's 100. When moving to the girls' youth, we have a total of 15 entries. So it's a pretty good turnout this time for the women's youth 100 meters. We only had, last event, I think we only had 5 or 4 or 6. We certainly did not have 2 heats. So we have 2 heats of women in the 100 meters, with pretty much every delegation represented here. I believe all 10 of the teams are represented in the youth girls 100 meters. Okay, and then moving to the women's open, we have 6 entries in one heat. In the women's youth, we have a total of 7 plus 12. We have a total of 12 entries in the women's youth 200. Then move into the combined female 400, which is both youth and open. We have 1 open age athlete competing with 6 youths. In the women's 800, we have 1 open age athlete competing with 3 youths. In the 1500 meters, we have 2 open age plus 1 youth. In the 3000, we have 2 open age plus 1 youth. The women's 3K walk, we have 2 entries, so that has been combined with the men. The long jump has been combined, mainly just due to time constraints, into both male and female. So we have 3 male participants. We have 7 women and 1 youth in the combined long jump event. In triple jump women, we have 4 entries, all open women. So that's been combined with the men. again, due to time constraints. High jump. Okay, for high jump, we have 4 entries. I believe all 4 of them are open women. Then in agreed, I'll put this in. So I'll put this part in. We've agreed to have a starting height of 125 in the women's high jump, and as per the women's high jump, the bar will increase in 5 centimeter increments until there is only one competitor left, and then at that point the bar goes up in 3 centimeter increments, or basically whatever the winner, whoever is left in the competition decides to go up. If they want to go up in 1 or 2 or whatever, that's probably okay as well. So in women 4x1, we have 7 competitors, and I believe that pretty much all of them are youth except for 2. So therefore, we have combined this event into 7 of the 8 lanes for the 4x1 women's. 4x4 women's has 1 open and 4 youth teams, which have been combined. Moving into the men, we have 8 entries in the men's A race, which is quite a high quality race, as it has 3 athletes who have all ran under 11 seconds in it. So it's it's a quite significant part of the program. Then in the men's B race, we have 8 athletes, including the Masters athlete, which I will be asking if he would rather be in the 3rd heat than the 2nd heat, depending on what he decides with regards to that. And then, so 3 heats in the men. Then in the youth boys, again, we have a pretty good lineup in the youth boys division, with a lot of them running in the 11-second range. We have 3 heats in the youth boys. So there's a lot of, it's good to see a lot of young athletes using this event to tune up for the National Batang Pinoy being held in Vegan in November, after running at their regional trials recently on the weekend, and now again having another competition against stronger competitors the following week. 200 men, we have also a very stacked lineup in the A race with all 8 lanes booked. Then we have 6 competitors in the 2nd, and there are 3 heats in the men's open. In the boys 100, and also note the numbers on the left hand side correspond to the lane draw of the athletes with the quickest 4 entries in occupying the 4 middle lanes. And we will have 3 heats in the boys 200. Then in the men's 400, we have 2 incomplete heats. In the youth 400, we will have 2 rather complete heats. Men's 800, we have 4 entries, and in the youth men we have 10 entries. I also want to note, as we did allow some entries came in a bit later, which we allowed, I still have to add 1 more team to this list, but I don't think that will affect the list that much, and we're not going to be changing any lanes or anything like that due to the entries being a bit late. We will assign them to the remaining lanes. So 1,500 men, 5 entries, 1,500 meter youth, 10 entries. We will have the men's, we were in 3,000 meters, combine all the entries into one race. That was because we only had a smaller number of what do you call it, seniors. So we combined all 16 into one event, but we will score them different. 3K walk open for men, 3 entries, which will be combined with the women. So 4x1 male, we have 8 entries, which we've decided to combine. And 4x4 male, 5 entries combined. Long jump, 3 entries combined with the women. Triple jump, 2 entries combined with women, and just 1 entry in the men's high jump. Okay, so I believe that we're almost done. So what I will ask now, and I have taken notes on the feedback regarding the events. So we will discuss further in the group chat regarding the scheduling of the 400 and 200 in the program. So I'll get some feedback. That was brought up by the coach of Baguio, but I'll get some feedback from the other coaches before making a decision on that. And we've also decided in the women's high jump that the starting height will be 125, going up in 5 centimeters, with when we get to a final 1 entry left, then they can decide on the increases in height after the other 3 competitors have been eliminated. So whoever survives will get to decide on the height after that. Okay. So I'll just be asking now, before we end this meeting, are there any corrections to the start list or any further questions regarding the event? Yeah, I can see someone with their hand up. Can I just get you to maybe unmute if you would like to ask a question. Okay. All right. So I will add Coach Casero's entries to the list. Then we will discuss the 4 and the 200 scheduling a little bit more in the group chat. And yeah, so some of this information, like the schedule, I will be putting up on the website. And yeah, so we again, these have been recorded, so I will upload. Make a note of this. So upload schedule to the this will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. Or no, yeah, I'll upload these to my YouTube video as private, so then that way only people with the link can view it. Because I mean, this meeting is really just for people who are attending the event. So yeah, I'll upload this as a private video to my YouTube and share the link to the group, so only the people in the group can view it. All right, so I will end the meeting now and continue further discussion in the group chat. Thanks everybody for attending, and good night.